Hello. All right, we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Um, so I'm going to come off camera and then I'll come back on in just a few minutes when we start. There was one more. Yeah, I love it. I myself have I'm an early person, so this is great. Right back. We're gonna get started in just a minute. Making sure that the webinar piece is open because this is a hybrid presentation. And then they said some folks are still like finishing up upstairs, so we'll get like 2 more minutes. All right, we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to hold this here because it is connected just in case anybody joins us virtually. But yeah, I'm excited to have you all here. And the great news is like as more people filter in and stuff, we've got a lot of different activities we're going to get to do here today. But yeah, you are here for PACT Time across different age ranges. And so we're going to look at creating PACT Time experiences for children of all ages using some resources from the National Center for Families Learning. If you'd like access to today's slides, I do have that here in a QR code. And so the best thing that I can say is scan that with your phone right now if you're curious. And then if for some reason it's not working, I've got my card up here so you all can come and I will be happy to email you a link to the slides as well. I played around with it this morning and it looks like all of the links are also live on here. So you will have access to all of the different materials that we're going to go through here today. And just a, oh, sure. Sorry. No, that's my bad. I didn't check. And I'm time to time just going to make sure no one joins the webinar just in case they do. Oh, no, sorry. That's me. I was trying to get the webinar bar to go down. No, you're fine. And then just a quick overview of today. The goal of this session, and I think this is what was included in the overview on the Whova app, is for us to just take a really deep dive into expanding the age range of parent and child together time, or these PACT Time activities, and to look at what is already available for free on our website, but also see how we can kind of beef it up for older children and families of students between probably, upper elementary, middle, and high school. And so family literacy programming can serve children with any age range, and PACT Time activities really do need to reflect the age of those children. But the great part about this is that PACT Time really can happen anytime, anywhere, and it doesn't have to be this huge over thought out process. So I'm a very linear agenda person. So I always like with the end in mind and just share with you a couple of the things that we're going to do here today. We're going to do some quick introductions and a community building activity that I have for us. We'll do an informational piece of what NCFL is, who we are, what we do. I'll talk you through what PACT Time is and just give you a very brief overview of that. And then the majority of the time is going to be spent exploring these NCFL PACT Time resources that we have, and then looking at using them as the basis for expanding PACT Time within your own organizations. And then we'll have questions and a wrap up opportunity, and I will send you back out to the rest of your sessions and more exhibitions and all of that wonderful stuff that you all have going on here today. So really quickly, my name is Allison Miller. I come all the way from Louisville, Kentucky. I am the Associate Director of our Kentucky work at the National Center for Families Learning. Um, I have lived in that area for the better part of 2 decades now, but I was born and raised in West Virginia, so I just kind of keep making my way a little bit more south as life goes on. My background is in early childhood education. And I've got my doctorate in education with an emphasis in educational leadership. So I started out doing kindergarten and then kind of backtracking and doing a lot more preschool, 0 to 5 work, and finding out that I really enjoy working with adults and families to support their children. And I wanted to do that. And so I've been with NCFL since 2019. I came on as a family engagement specialist and then have worked my way up to this position here. And so I've got a community building activity that we're going to do here today. At the edge of everybody's table, there are little pieces of paper that have questions on them. And this is a community builder we call Share, Share, Trade. What we're going to do is you'll take one of those questions, you're going to find a partner, then you're going to read the question on your card to your partner. Your partner is going to answer it. They're going to read their question to you. You're going to answer it. You will swap your cards at that point, and then you'll go find a different partner with different questions to kind of get us up and running. And NCFL has a community building toolkit on our website if you're ever interested about that. One of the things that I love about community builders is that they go a little bit more deep than a traditional icebreaker might go. We're not here to learn about favorite colors or favorite pizza toppings. We're really trying to make connections with our families, with our students, and with anybody involved in our programming. So if one of these cards speaks to you here today and you want to tuck it on home and take it back with you, you're more than welcome to. If you want to take a couple as examples, you're more than welcome to do that as well. These I generated just based on what I thought we might be talking about here today, but you can always do this with a lot of different questions that would be in mind with whatever programming you're offering. So yeah, I'm going to make sure no one else has joined us. Yep, it's still just us, which is fine. So yeah, I'm going to give us, I'll say maybe 5 minutes to find a card, find a partner, and we're going to just get up, get moving, and do 2 or 3 questions a group until we're done. Yeah, so I will turn this microphone. Thank you all so much. And it always goes from like such a high energy to very quickly like back to quiet. But hopefully we'll have some time for collaboration here in just a few minutes. Um, Thoughts on that experience? Like it, love it, not so much, or okay. Feel free to snag what's on the table. It is one less thing for me to either recycle or take back to Louisville. So, and the same thing with I've got a bunch of handouts today. So that kind of thing. But yeah, I really like this. Again, it just goes a little deeper and you can make your questions as intimate or as light as you would like them to be, like depending on the type of group that you're having or families or that kind of thing. I did try to throw in a couple of questions about like spoken word because we know a lot of families might be coming that have emergent literacy skills. And so maybe like having access to books isn't quite there yet. So talking about oral tradition, stories, that kind of thing is important to us as well. Nope. So just a really quick breakdown about NCFL. We're the National Center for Families Learning. Our mission is to eradicate poverty through education solutions for families. We know poverty can come through in a lot of different ways. It's not just financial access. It could be poverty in language or poverty in a lack of resources that you have access to. Or different things like that. And so we are constantly looking to partner with communities, organizations that are wanting to change the trajectory of a family's life by leveraging their own experiences and their own funds of knowledge. And so we have a vision right now, and that is by 2030, we will have coordinated and aligned family learning systems that are established in 60 communities and that they are built with and for families to increase their education and their economic outcomes and to create more thriving communities. And so we work in a lot of different places across the country, but we are really trying to go very deeply into these 60 communities and partnering with them to offer a series of different services, programming, that kind of thing. If at the end of this you're curious about that and want to know how you can get engaged with us, I'll have my card, I'll have my contact information. I would love to share that information with you. But just a little bit of information about our national reach. We were founded in 1989, so we're turning 36 this year, which is just crazy to me. And we're headquartered in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I live, but we have a national staff. And so I think only about 40% of us live within driving distance of Louisville. The rest of us are based all across the country in different places and in different communities. And since 1989, we have been in 150 plus communities and growing. We are currently in 39 different states in some way, shape, or form. And to date, we've helped over 4.5 million families. And so it really is just a beautiful legacy that I've been so fortunate to be a part of since 2019. We do have a theory of action right now. I include this slide just because it's in our regular slide deck that they ask us to share, but I'm not going to go too deeply into this for you, other than to show you that we really are trying to do a couple of things. We're trying to enhance our collaborative community models and then implement high impact multi-generational programs. And then what we're doing with that is that we do track and capture family stories and data through a variety of different evaluations, both qualitative and quantitative. And in that helps us just to be able to spread and scale those policies and practices across the country. And so what we're seeing with that is that parenting adults, families, and community stakeholders have a greater capacity to enhance their economic and education outcomes. Our communities have aligned and coordinated services for children and families. And so what we see with that is people are operating outside of their silo and they're starting to be more integrated. And then we have effective family learning practices that are spread across those communities. And then hopefully here by 2030, we will have 60 of those communities. And so we have what's called a family learning system. And so all of our work falls within these three pillars that you see here. And anytime we go into a community, even if we're just offering one of the pillars, we always co-design with that community through strategic partnerships. And then I've got just a little bit of a breakdown here. A big part of PACT Time is family literacy, but it's also some family engagement here today. So our family literacy model is really kind of our legacy model. Is what started back in 1989. It's what has brought us through here today. This is where we look at building literacy, technology, and workforce skills for parenting adults, and then ensuring a healthy development and improving the literacy and learning outcomes for children. With our family engagement, that's birth to adult as well, but we're doing two things. We follow Dr. Mapp's dual capacity building framework, And with that, we're trying to elevate parent voice and family voice to be able to engage with community-based organizations, schools as co-creators and problem solvers, because for a lot of families, the schools might not see them as that yet. And what we're really trying to do is to build the capacity of schools and community-based organizations to work alongside families. And so making it less of a power play and more of a shared power moment where families are able to elevate their own voice and advocate for their children. Family leadership is all the way down there at the other side, and that is just for our adults in our programming. That is really where we come in and we help build leadership and job skills and increase social capital for parenting adults. And then we're also, again, kind of it's a dual capacity, but just for the adults, working with schools and community-based organizations and businesses to be able to listen to families. And so with our family leadership, our programming is called Activate. And we come in knowing that families have the power to make that change. They don't need anything other than obstacles to be moved out of the way. And so we go through and we talk about how to be able to elevate a problem that they want to find a solution for. And so in Louisville, for example, I worked with a family leadership cohort a couple years ago for early childhood education. And what we saw there was I had a group of moms that had children that had exceptional needs. So they were autism, speech language needs, or multilingual learners. And what they had found was post-COVID, our early childhood programming in Louisville didn't have very good two-way communication. They didn't have very good communication at all. And so these families would drop their little ones off, and then they would come home either on a bus or they'd get picked up, and they had no idea what was happening in the classroom that day because their child either was nonverbal or their child didn't speak the language to know what was going on. And so we were able to identify that and really elevate that. And they were able to go and to advocate things like Class Dojo, a messaging app, a weekly breakdown of what's happening, or sometimes for those children, like a daily breakdown of what was happening. And so that's just one example of what family leadership might look like within a community. And so again, just a nice little slide here. Right now, what we have seen is like between 1989 and 2022, we were very siloed, and it's great. It looks nice. We want to be more integrated. We want to bring more communities together, sharing the things that are working for them, so that if you are a community in Nebraska or a community in North Carolina that's serving bilingual families, you might have some things that you could talk about and resources that you could share. So we're going to get into the PACT time, and then we're going to get into our resources. Is everybody familiar with family literacy, or is family, like, maybe a thumbs up if family literacy is a newer concept? Okay, perfect. So family literacy is great. It is a 4-component model. And so we've got our family right there in the center. And the term means that there are services that are of sufficient intensity. So it means more than once. This is not a literacy night that happens a couple times a year at your school. So sufficient intensity in terms of hours and duration to make it sustainable changes in a family that integrate the following activities. And so in family literacy models and programs, there's always an adult education component. So families are coming for anything from working on a GED, workforce development, those types of English language learning is a big piece of a lot of our programming throughout the country, but anything that is going to help that adult achieve their own educational goal or their own career goal. And then we have children's education, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It could be anything from a pre-K to 12 model. It could be a daycare setting. It could be a once-a-week trip to the library where you're doing like a story time together with a librarian, and your child is getting introduced to their own education. And then we have parent time, and that is time specifically for parents to come together in a group and just talk about what they would find helpful. And so parent time can look anything from, we want to make more nutritious meals for our children. And so we're going to have a little cooking class and talk about what we have access to in our community. We'll practice cooking something here. We'll take some ingredients home and make it at home and try it. It can also look like I had a site in Arizona who they all wanted to get their driver's licenses. And so they went down to the DMV and they, got the book, they studied together. That was something that they identified. And then they practiced and they took their tests together. And so that was the parent time piece because they felt like transportation would be something that would help their family grow. But parent time can also be any number of things. but it has to be self-identified and it's outside of that education goal. It is something that's going to help elevate your family to something that will take you to the next level. And then PACT Time, which is my favorite, it stands for Parent and Child Together Time. This is where adults come together and they learn alongside their children and they help them learn and see their own power. And so at NCFL, we always say that a parent or a parenting adult is their child's first and most influential teacher. Always. They might not feel like that, and we need to help them have that confidence, but they will always be the most influential person in that child's life. And when we do say parenting, we mean any adult that is getting that child across that finish line. So it could be grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, kinship care, foster care. It is any parenting adult that's working alongside with that child to be a family. So Parent and Child Together Time is what we call interactive literacy activities between parents and their children. And that's kind of the official piece. But really, it is just a time for folks to come together to see their child as a learner and for their child to see their parent as a learner. And so we define PACT Time as following. It's intergenerational programming where parents are engaging in joint learning activities with their child in educational settings or in self-selected spaces. So what that means is it happens anytime, anywhere. So you can see PACT Time in the classroom, you can see it in a school setting, you can see it in the community, you can see it at home. And this is an example of some PACT Time at our Rama Navajo FACE program. And so we can see here, it looks like they've got just their little PACT Time activity. It looks like just it's a series of animals and they're kind of looking through some different pieces of literacy literature that have to do with those types of animals. And that's a PACT Time. It's that parent, that child, they're learning together, they're interacting, they're having just those really great actions together. And so we know the purpose of PACT Time is to support parents as their first and most influential teacher. We also want to support parents in building the knowledge of their child's needs, their interests, and their development. And then we want to facilitate meaningful interactions and strengthen that relationship and develop that parent self-efficacy for engaging with their children so they feel more confident to be able to do that. Because it starts out with, we're playing with animals, we're reading a little piece of like a magazine maybe or a zoo book together. And it ends up with, I'm confident enough to do spelling words with my child. I feel confident enough to sit down and try and do some math work with my child. And then this is our Lewis and Clark Elementary and South Sioux City program. And so we get a lot of folks that think like PACT Time has to like fit into this little box and it's a certain amount of things. And really it's not. It is always going to be one of two things. It's either to be facilitated or So with facilitated PACT Time, it takes place in a group setting like this. You've got your space, you've got a facilitator that's going to guide you through it that might have some different things that get sent home, that kind of thing, but there's a goal. Unfacilitated PACT Time can take place at home or in a self-selected space where the facilitator is not present. And so within that, so facilitated, we'll just take this room as an example. We can either have a facilitated constructed PACT Time. So I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, start to finish. I'll be walking around and helping you. Or you can have this co-constructed PACT Time where I might say, hey, we really were enjoying learning about the different types of weather a couple of weeks ago. Would you all like to do something with weather? What would you like to do? I'm going to gather the materials. I'll be here if you need me. But the rest of it is up to you with your kids. And I might walk around, we can talk about things, but we're just going to identify it together. I'm still going to be here. There's going to be a definite start and a definite end, but you all are really kind of driving that bus. And then, so we've got an example of facilitated PACT Time, facilitated constructed PACT Time. So we've got the step-by-step instructions. We're going to research an online cultural event. We're going to create a presentation. I like that when we're thinking about our older learners, especially like your middle schoolers, your high schoolers, they can learn how to put together a couple of Google slides, like research something together with their parenting adult and present it as a group. Your co-constructed would look like those children and the parents are discussing something of interest to them, and then they're going to research it online. So I'll come in and say, hey, our goal is a presentation, but I want you to sit down with your kids and I want you to think through what's something they're interested in. Is it, local baseball teams and stuff? Because I know like that all just started last week and my husband and my son are really into that and watching the different teams. Like maybe they want to do something like that. That would not be what I would do with him because we've got different interests, but that's exactly what it would look like. Unfacilitated PACT time, again, it's just what it sounds like. I'm not really going to do anything other than give you a little bit of a starting point or let you pick the starting point. And so this is going to happen outside of a class on your own time, anytime, anywhere. So with unfacilitated PACT time, what I might say is, okay, we're all here together. I'm going to send you outside. You're going to go for a walk with your little one. I want you to collect some leaves, talk about some different colors, use the leaves for an art project that you can work on together. Here's your materials, out you go. And I'm not going to be, watching everybody and kind of butting in and that kind of thing. I'm just going to let you do your thing. Or it can look like I'm just going to say, I want you to go out, have a conversation about nature, do whatever you all want to do outside, come back in an hour. We're going to talk about it, see how it felt. But again, I don't have any expectation and I'm not going to walk you through a scaffold. So before I go on to the next pieces, does that make sense so far? Does anybody have any questions about unfacilitated versus facilitated? Great. I just always want to check. Still no one. Oh, we've got a couple of people. Hopefully they can hear because they have not told me they can't. So that's great. So when you're thinking about setting your PACT time up, there's really 5 stages of getting that PACT time ready. So you as the facilitator would kind of plan through what you want it to look like. Is it something that you're going to lead from start to finish? Is it something that you're going to co-design with the families? Or is it something where you're going to do that unfacilitated true time where you just give them the starting point and they go? And you always want to do it based on interest. So obviously, if you're in a newer program, you're going to have to start somewhere to see what your family's interests are. But as you get to know your families, know their likes and dislikes, you can really, dive in and find something that's going to bring everybody together. Then you get into the preparation and the modeling with families. That happens once we're all in the room together. I'm going to introduce the topic. I'm going to walk you through how to do it. Any questions you might have, see how comfortable you are. And then you're going to engage in that PACT time experience. So you will go right on out and folks will do whatever the goal is for the day. The debrief is a really important portion. If you're able to have everybody together, it's where everybody comes back for a few minutes and just talks through what went well, what questions do you still have? Is this something you'd like more of? Is this something you'd like to try again? Or do you want to tell me something that you'd like to try in the future? And that debrief can be so important because it really takes a lot of the guesswork off of your shoulders in terms of what families might be gravitating towards. And then we have that ongoing practice that is just, again, encouraging families to do whatever they were doing with you during the day, back in their home and their communities, just out and about anytime, anywhere. So we've got a couple of resources. If you scan that QR code at the beginning and have access to slides, you can click on the pictures of everything and it will take you to the resources. If you didn't get a chance to scan, I've got it at the end of this presentation again, so you'll have a chance to do it here in just a few minutes. But we've got a few things I'm going to walk you through just very quickly, but then I have them physically here today and I want us to kind of get down and play and see what you all think about it. So the first thing that we have is the family engagement activities. It looks like this. And so this is parent and child together activities that are designed to be playful. They've got some social emotional benefits in this particular compilation. And then they've also got some pieces on nature and social development and a little bit of emergent learning and literacy. And there's also a little bit of math. This is really geared towards 3 to 8. You can stretch it out a little bit older, which we'll talk about here once you get into it. It'd be a little trickier to take it a little bit younger, but we could look at what that would look like as well. I've got a better tool for younger children I'm going to get to here in just a second. We have learning outside of school, and this is again ages 3 to 8. I really like this one for programs that have have families with children that are already in school that are wondering, like, what can we do outside of homework? What's something that's going to be a little bit more joyful, bring us together, like less threat than doing a math sheet together or trying to, do spelling words and all of those things. And so with this, we've got 10 practical examples of PACT Time that can be copied and shared with parents. And I've got those right there for you to look at as well. Like they are just like 1 or 2 pages that can be sent home or that can be done together in a room. It's a great resource if you're a teacher or you're a facilitator. And then it's also got just some really detailed descriptions of PACT Time and what that might look like. Let's Learn Together Outside is one of my favorites, and we're also getting ready to expand it here in the next couple of months. So that's also exciting. With this particular one, we've got 3 examples of PACT times that can be printed out and shared with families, but it's for everything outside. So again, this is really great for programs where you're wanting to get them out into like the community, out into nature, out into those kind of things to really like enjoy something like outside of a screen or, just like kind of inside. And this is the perfect time of year too, because at least where we've been, it's been, dreary, yucky, cold, wet. Now it's getting warmer and I'm excited. This was designed initially to support schools and libraries. So it's great for that type of setting, but also community-based organizations. And then the play toolkit is really what I would recommend for years 0 to 5, like really your preschool early learning. It is 6 lessons on the importance of play in early childhood. And I've got them all printed out here for us to take a look at here today. But we talk about how to do PACT time at home. We've got a page on the visual schedule. We have the play cycle, making a comfy place to read, art together, and open-ended materials. And it really is just with the exception of a comfy place to read, which is a little bit longer. It's just a 1-pager front and back that you can invite folks into. You all can experience that together, and then you can send them home with just kind of like those ideas. So what I'd like to do is to just pass out materials. And I think the benefit here is that I've got enough for almost everybody to have the thicker one to take home. And I definitely have enough for like just the 1-pagers for folks to have. So what I'd love for you to do is like either in groups of 2, 3, 4, like we'll explore, I'll come around and kind of talk to you all and see what we might look at together. And then we'll come back and debrief here in just a little bit. But yeah, does anybody have any questions so far? Sure. You're good.
With the family literacy, I didn't know it went up to like high school.
It can. It
Okay.
depends on what your program like looks like.
Okay.
Who are you currently, like what age ranges are you currently serving in your programming?
Well, new.
No.
I'm starting.
Okay, great.
So,
Yeah.
but from the area that I'll be the director of,
Okay.
there are situations where I need that parent and the older child who can learn to work together.
Okay.
So see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't just-
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like this is why I like kind of smaller groups. We can really like dive into it. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I need to be in her group because it's the same thing. I think a lot of the conversation is for the younger kids.
Mhm.
And I think those activities are perhaps a little more intuitive.
Yeah.
But I think when you get to middle school and high school in a
Mhm.
way that, those kids don't ever want extra work.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in a way that's both meaningful, but also like supportive and acknowledging
Yeah.
where those kids are developing?
Perfect. I don't know if people at home can hear, so I'm just trying to like get everybody. So yeah. Okay. Great. All right. If you're listening at home, we're gonna pause. I put the link to the slides in the Whova app. So if you want to head there, you can find that, but otherwise we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. Line people, there are 4 of you now. Or 3 plus me. Okay, nope. I am unmuted. What are you telling me? Okay. We've done together as a group, but so basically at this point, I want to know what kind of questions do you still have hanging out in your own heads? What are you thinking? What are you excited about? Like, did this help today? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I have plenty of extras up front. So anything that you want extra copies of, take it for a friend. Again, it's either, yep, go for it. It's either gonna go in the recycling here. It's probably not gonna make it back on the plane with me. But yeah, and like I said, all of these resources are available online for free. And if you want access to today's slides again, this is the QR code. I've also got my cards up here. If you're someone that would rather send me an email just to have my info and then have me share the slides, we can go that way. Oh. And then this is our website, familieslearning.org. That's where you can get access to all of those resources and more. We have tons of different things. We've got a blog, all sorts of fun stuff there. You're good. It's not working. Okay. Come on up for my card or take a picture of this. Sorry about that. There we go. There we go. No problem. There we go. Here you go. Sorry.
Thank you.
No problem. Here you go, Carlotta. Oh, I'm gonna drop it. But that is all I have for today. Thank you all for sticking around with me. I hope it was helpful. Like I said, if you're curious about being with us, learning more about what we do, that kind of thing, please reach out. We offer everything from professional development to like deep statewide things and in between. So we love making connections. We love being helpful. And yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. I think everything's available in Spanish. That would be the only thing that I know of right now. Some of our other stuff is available in like Kinyarwanda, Swahili, that kind of thing for like our local places, but most of our national stuff is English, Spanish right now. Yeah. Yeah, it should be. Yeah. And if not, we can always talk to you, like, because we've got some services too that we might be able to get worked out. So yeah, just feel free, reach out. The worst I can tell you is no. The best I can tell you is like, sure. So, all right. Thank you all.